Hi Lena, I'm just going to go through the volume of prisms for you that you've requested. So we've got 4 different prisms here. This is one of my maths homeworks. It may have the same figures in it, it may not. So I'll go through it. If it's got different figures in it, then feel free just to alter them when you need to. Okay, so I've got a triangular prism just on here. I've got a triangle on the end. Now to find the area of a triangle, I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. And then to find the prism itself, I've found the area of this end and I need to times it by the length. Okay, so I'm going to times it by the length, which is 9.5. So times by the length. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up the 2 seconds. Just bring up the calculator. So we've got 5 times 4 divided by 2 gives me 10. So the area of the end is 10. And I'm going to times it by 9.5. Which gives me 95. Now if you notice that this thing at the top here, it says give all of the answers to 1 decimal place. So even if it's a 0, you have to put it to 1 decimal place because that's what it's asked for. So in this case, it's going to be 95.0. Okay. All right. Number 2. I'm going to come down to the bottom one just down here. Okay. Now, I'm just going to draw a line straight down the middle of that. If we cut that in half, you can see I've got another triangular prism. So I've got, if we spun that around, we've got the base here being 3.8. I've got half of the length, so half of that length is 4.4. And remember, I'm using the same formula as we did for this one up here. So base times height divided by 2. Divided by 2. The base is 3.8. 3.8 times 4.4 divided by 2 times the length, and that would be 5.1. So if we do that into the calculator, it would enable me to find this section here, so just half of my shape. So I'm just going to type that in. So that's going to be 3.8 times 4.4 times 5.1, which gives me 85.272. Remember, I need to divide it by 2, okay, which is the size of half of that shape. Now you might think that was a bit of a silly thing to do because I actually want another half. So I'm going to times it by 2 now. So I could have actually left it as it was, 85.272. Now remember, I want that to 1 decimal place. So if you think 85.272, 85.272 to 1 decimal place, what effect is the 7 going to have? That would round the next one up by 1. It's going to be 85.3 centimeters cubed. Okay, on to question 3. The volume of a cylinder is the area of the surface at the front, the area of the circle, which is pi times radius squared, and I'm then going to times it by the length. So pi times radius squared times length. Pi is 3.14 in this case, times the radius. Now the radius, they give me this measurement here, which is the diameter. Radius is half of that. So half of 2 gives me 1 squared times 9. 1 times 1 is 1. Times 9 is 9. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 9. 3.14 times 9 gives me 28.26. And again, 1 decimal place. The 6 is going to round up, so 28.3 centimeters cubed. And the final one, I've got two shapes. If I put a line down here, I've got a triangular prism, which is the same thing as what we did on question 1 and 2. So I need base times height divided by 2 times the length. The base is this bit here. Now I don't know what that is. I know the total thing is 5.7, but I don't know. That bit there is 3.8. So I need the difference between that for a start. So 5.7 minus 3.8 gives me 1.9. So I know the base now is 1.9. I know the height because I can take the height from this side here, which is 3.5. And I know the depth because the depth is this measurement that's going back here, which is 4.1. So I've got 1.9 times 3.5 divided by 2 times 4.1. Put that in the calculator. 1.9 times 3.5 divided by 2 times by 4.1. That gives me 13. So this measurement here is going to be 13.6325. We're going to have to come back to that measurement in a second. That's my shape A. Shape B is going to be this shape here. And it is just a straightforward cuboid. So I need length by width by height. My length is 5.7. My width is 4.1. And my height is 3.5. So I'm just going to times those three measurements together. 5.7 times 4.1 times 3.5. Gives me 81.795. So shape B, 81.795. And remember, I need to add these two shapes together. So I'm going to add these two measurements together here. So I'm going to add on the 13.6325, which gives me 95.4275. And then I'm going to round that to one decimal place. The 2 would round down, so it's just 95.4. Okay, hopefully that helps. And if you need to go back and just have a rewatch of that to see how they work. Triangular prism, always going to be base times height divided by 2 times by the length. Cuboid is just length times width times height. Okay, and then the cylinder is going to be pi 3.14 times radius squared. Remember, that's radius times radius. So if that was 3, it would be 3 times 3. And then you times by the length of the actual cylinder.